Hey y'all, my name is Ann Wyatt. I started my career in workforce development with the state of Kentucky in 2010. That experience ignited a deep passion for manufacturing within me. I started this show hoping to raise more awareness around the bright outlook manufacturing careers have. Join me as I sit down with some of the manufacturing industry's most successful changemakers and learn how they're partnering people with technology. It's time to give people more meaningful work. This is Workforce 4.0. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Workforce 4.0. I'm so excited to have our next guest on the show, the VP Mission Design and Automation there in Holland, Michigan, Ryan Lillibridge. Hi, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing well, Ann. How about you?
I'm good. So, Ryan, I appreciate you joining me as well. For everybody listening today that maybe has not heard of Mission Design and Automation and what you guys are up to there in Holland, Michigan, which I don't know if they haven't, they're hiding under a rock, obviously. Yeah. But could you tell us a little bit more about yourself and about the awesome stuff Mission is into?
Sure. Thanks, Ann. I've been in automation since I left college. So it's quite a while ago, maybe 19 years or so. So been doing different robotics, automated systems for all kinds of market segments, from aerospace to defense to e-commerce to automotive to construction to indoor farming. The list goes on. That's what I love about it, is it's always changing and exciting. So it keeps me interested. I've been at Mission for about the last 4 years, and it's really been exciting to kind of see the growth there. And like you said, if someone hasn't heard of us, I'd be surprised. Sammy does a great job getting our name out there with everybody and anybody. So Mission is located in Holland, Michigan, and has been in business for 20 years. So come July, we'll have our 20-year party. Not a 21st party, but a 20-year party. It's still going to be good at the facility and show off what we do. So lots of robotics, lots of automation. And really what we do is we say take care of each other and take care of the customer every Wednesday. And then we just try to live that out in different ways. So if the customer needs help with production, or they need help with innovation, or they need help with technology, our team has those skills on board to come alongside them and help them out.
Love that. Help the customer and help each other.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your own company philosophy? I love how simple that is.
Yeah, it's what we say to the team every week. It's what we say to each other. It really comes down to, if we take good care of each other, we'll also take good care of our customers. So if our employees are happy and we take care of each other, they'll take care of the customer and the customer will be happy. So very important that we do those things. And that's why we say it every single week.
I love that. That's awesome. And yes, our friend Sammy, she is a hard worker. She has been going to work for y'all on social media. She is everywhere. She's got y'all's company posted everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
She's doing an amazing job.
Yeah, she definitely does. We're everywhere and anywhere, it seems like. So that team and her team does fantastic getting that stuff out.
It does. And I've actually been to Mission. I toured Mission Design and Automation a year ago, back February of 2023, with our little friend group. And it was such a cool experience, and getting down to talk to Scott and you guys in the conference room and then walking the floor. And I just love how engaged your employees were, and like how happy they looked at what they were doing. You know, you could tell being on the floor, they really enjoyed their work and what they were doing in their environment that they were working in.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Ann. It's something that we strive for. We want to listen to our team and understand what they're looking for. And they take pride in their work. They're excited for what they do, and we do cool stuff. So it all helps. And it's a matter of that take care of each other and listening to each other and understanding where and how we help each other.
I love that. Well, I can't wait to get more into that aspect of the conversation here in the show today. But, I just got to kick this episode off in the same tradition as every other episode with Workforce 4.0. But I got to know, Ryan, what is your go-to karaoke song or your favorite song?
Yeah, I think it would be Country Road by John Denver. And part of the reason is I went on a 10-year-old trip. So what we do with our kids is when they turn 10, I take them anywhere in the country they want to go for a week. And then when they turn 15 or 16, my wife takes them wherever they want to go with her. So you get a lot of time together in the car. So my son and I were listening to Country Road, I don't know, on repeat. It seemed like we heard that song a lot of times and just would sing it out loud. So I think for me, it'd be that song, right?
Does he love that song? Yeah.
He likes it when you're on a road trip. I don't know if he'd tell his friends that at school, but
Right. They never do, Ryan.
yeah.
They never do. They're like,
You're
no,
with
and
dad
it's
in the
like
car all by
deny,
yourself.
deny.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I like that one.
Yeah. So what's yours? Do you have one?
My favorite karaoke, well, my go-to karaoke song.
Yeah.
I switch it up a lot. So I do get asked that a lot on the show. So I try to keep it fresh and have my own list. And then I do go out and do karaoke. Some weekends you can find me at the karaoke and I'll be doing karaoke. I like to do it. It's a lot of fun. But I was just thinking the other day that I'd really like to try a country song myself, which is new for me.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge country fan. It'd be a good karaoke song. Dirt Road Anthem.
Oh yeah.
Would that be fun?
That would be good. Yeah. Yeah, we should do that one.
We should do. You want to do that, Ryan?
Next trade show. I think there should be a karaoke outing.
Are you going to IMTS?
I'll be there. Yeah. In September, we'll be there.
Maybe then.
Yeah. I
We
think
could
that'd be
do
good.
that. That'd be a lot of fun. Okay, well, I'm holding you to it.
All right. The Ann Wyatt karaoke jamboree.
That's right. It's going to be a good event. I'm looking forward to it. That's a good song. I think we can get a good playlist going from that. But, I really want to talk more about your leadership experience and also your ability to innovate, because you do serve such a wide range of customers at Mission.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine that some of that is pretty customized manufacturing solutions.
Yes, it is.
So I think that there's a huge opportunity with that to be super innovative in places and in markets that maybe have kind of been still for a while, or maybe there's like such a level of standardization that you don't get that opportunity.
I would say,
yeah, I think that's a fair point. But I think that Mission, you really get that chance to innovate with what you're doing. And I've just got to know, kind of as a senior leader in your company, how do you nurture and channel your passion for innovation into your work? And maybe for those listening today, can you share an example of a time when thinking outside the box, like, led to a successful outcome? Like, what was one of those times that you got that opportunity to really change things?
Sure. I think organizationally, what we need to do is be curious and not afraid to fail. So what we talk about often is fail fast and then tell everybody what happened and what went wrong. The other part is you have to create a safe environment at work for people to feel comfortable doing that. Whereas if there is a failure, they're willing to talk about it. If they feel like there's a retribution coming or a negative thing coming after that, they'll be less likely to bring up those ideas. And actively kind of going through the room and understanding everyone's perspective on it and making sure that everyone has a chance to input is where you hire smart people and then give them room to create and innovate. But you have to create that space to do it. So that's something we try to do. It's not easy to do. I won't say that we do it every day, but it's definitely something that we work and strive towards. Specific examples, there's so many. I think we often try to look at, can I make it upside down? There's a whole series of questions when you're looking at like custom automation. Does a car have to go together that way? What if we put it together upside down? Do we even have to put it together in the same order that they told us? Or can we put these little pieces together and then bring them over to this piece? So we have kind of questions that we ask ourselves to maybe get rid of the sacred cows and allow ourselves to think outside the box in certain ways. or sometimes we like to debate with each other. So we put ideas out there that are maybe a little ridiculous and then talk about why they won't work, or just put some out there so people can shoot them down. But in those nuggets, there's different innovation that happens, or it may just twist the thought process enough to be creative. So it's active every day. Where do we do it? I don't know if I have a specific example, Ann, but if I were to walk our shop floor like you did with Scott and the team, you'd see something different every couple months going through. And each one of those has a piece of innovation on it where someone thought outside of the box. And it's what allows us to be competitive as a company. It's how we win. It's how we allow a customer to produce what they need to produce in a more creative way that has a higher output, or a faster way, or a better way, or a higher quality. So our team's doing it every day, all day, in little pockets, and also in big ways as well. So
yeah, when I was up there, Ryan, and I was walking your floor, one specific thing that kind of jumps out to me, and you said a lot underlying there about high performing teams, about applicable use cases for creativity. So that's some amazing stuff that I also want to follow up on. But I do want to share, when I was up there and I was walking your floor at Mission, we came across an automation engineer, I believe.
Yeah.
Or controls engineer. And he had this whole like setup, and like he had like his control panel like kitted out with like lights, like different colored lights. And we asked him about it. Yeah, we asked him about it. We were like, nice lights and everything. He was like, yeah, the folks here are awesome. But, I just, I wanted to try something different. And this is what I did. And I think that's really cool that he was able to have that creative freedom to like make his workspace truly his own and express himself with that kind of creativity. I love that. Like, that was really cool. I want you to know that.
Oh, I appreciate that. I think I know which one you're talking about too. And sometimes when we do that, we ask the customer and we're like, hey, we have an idea. What if this thing flashed your colors and your logos while it was running, and the indicators were in this certain way? And usually they're like, that'd be awesome. We're like, well, it doesn't really cost anything more. And wouldn't it look a lot cooler? And a lot of times they're, with that playful mindset or having fun and talking with the customer, those things are the same cost, but go a long ways, and they get excited about it too. So it's really fun. The team's creative that way, right?
That is fun. I think that's a huge piece of just those little things that you can do that are also cool and that also serve a need for the customer. Of course, you want the, customized like logo and lights and everything. That's really cool. And if it's something that you can work into it, why not? Right?
Yeah. If they're open to it, then why wouldn't you, right?
That is really cool. And I love that you all are so able to have those kinds of fun, critical thinking conversations as well. Like you're saying, like when you just throw out an idea just to throw it out there, you know what I mean? Just to kind of get feedback. What is that like? Has that always been part of your company culture, or did that start at a specific time of during your career? Was that there when you came in to Mission?
I don't know if it was there when I came in right away, right? There was some silos and things to work through. So it takes time. It takes time building trust between team members and trust that they can put those ideas out there. And I think it takes constant work and attention to maintain it. So it's been often in the automation industry. There's pockets of it that happen. Trying to do it on a regular basis in all environments with everyone's different relationships can be challenging. So talking through that with each person and making sure they're comfortable with that, and making sure different voices can be heard through a meeting is a challenge, but it's important, right? So it's not one voice rules the whole meeting. We have a lot of smart people on our team. Let's hear them all.
It is. Do you have a designated moderator for those, or
No,
no?
no, it's the team, right? So team self-moderates if that's possible. That's what I'm saying happens.
That's awesome.
But because there's meetings every day, so it doesn't, you don't want to have it be dependent upon one person to be successful, right?
That's right. No, I love that. That's really hard. That's really hard for an organization to get to that place.
Yeah.
Is that something that you recognize, like what a feat, like what an accomplishment that is?
I think sometimes I can take it for granted just because our team's leaned in so much and they do such a great job. Sometimes it can just happen, but it has taken a lot of effort from a lot of different people and a willingness to be vulnerable from different people on our team. So that's important, right?
Definitely. No, that's really the key piece to it, is that comfort level. And like you said, kind of getting everybody comfortable with
Yeah.
being able to share on that level. That's really cool. Love that. And it's cool because I've seen companies try to do that for a long time. And it's hard to get there. So congratulations. Kudos to y'all.
Yeah. I don't know if you're ever there. It just takes constant attention and everyone leaning into it.
Very cool. Well, Ryan, I kind of want to talk a little bit more about you and your career journey,
Sure.
right? And I think it's really awesome that you're currently kind of at the VP level in your company. But I'm sure, you didn't walk out of school and that was a thing, right? So I'd love to learn more about yourself and how that journey has transpired over the years. And if you have any specific advice for maybe some of the younger generations that are listening into this show today about some professional development opportunities that were helpful for growing your career journey, and also some professional development opportunities that maybe are unique to Mission.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to. My journey, it's been, yeah, I didn't just walk out of college and get this. It's not typically how it works. So took a lot of years and a lot of curiosity and questions and leaning into different things. So I think some advice is just put yourself in places where you're uncomfortable with your capabilities. So what I mean by that is stretch a little bit, say yes to that project that may be in front of you that you're wondering if you can take on or not. Step into some of the challenging projects. Make sure you're a little bit uncomfortable every day with something that's hard to do or a little outside of your scope so that you're challenging yourself, because that's where you start to grow. Surround yourself with good mentors and be curious through that process. So ask good questions, take notes on those questions, and listen to those mentors. They will help you, and look for good examples through an organization. So I'm not here because of myself all by myself. There's a whole bunch of people that poured and invested time in me to get to where I am and continue to spend time with me where I can ask questions and get that leadership. So lots of people over the years have taken time out of their day to help me with different things or different challenges that I've taken on. I do read a lot. So that is something that I'm reading books all the time, constantly learning. So also be a continuous learner. When you get out of college, that's just when you get started. There's a whole lot more to learn. I did go through another program. It was called Lead 24/7 here in Holland. It's a leadership program that was really helpful from the standpoint of just allowing me to give some language and terminology to leadership and different aspects, and then walking me through some of the different perspectives of building a good team and culture and presentation skills. So that was very beneficial for me to put some leadership structure around the learning versus being completely ad hoc. So I would look into what courses or leadership courses and structures may be around the area for you, and talk to your employer. See if you can set something up there if that's the path you're looking to go down.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I've seen Sammy posting all of the, I love seeing all the posts about the kids, their mission. I love seeing all the posts about the kids coming in and doing their apprenticeships, and then also the interns there at
Mhm.
Mission. How do you kind of foster that successful environment for them? Is it like, do you bring them in and then just kind of immediately acclimate them to, for example, like those meetings where you have those team meetings and it's like all the creativity? Or do you kind of like slowly acclimate them to that? What is that process like for them? Because I really feel like that's I feel like they're getting a really unique experience. That's super positive for them.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a few different things there, and that happen at Mission every month, it seems like, with different educational institutions. So we do have a lot of school buses of kids come through with different age groups. So shout out to Mandy and Todd and Rob and Melissa and others who help coordinate all that. That's it's just getting early exposure to people, and maybe 2 out of the 50 find it interesting, but at least they've come and seen what happens in their backyard. So those are just day tours for a couple hours or an hour or so. And then another step is that co-op or internship that we do. So our managers and our leads spend a lot of time with those co-ops and interns and put them in situations where, yeah, they're in that creative meeting a lot of times right out of the gate. There's not like a prep meeting for the meeting. We're trying to have less meetings. So there's a
That's right.
get in the meeting, jump in the game, start talking. What have you seen at school? Because sometimes coming out of school, you're more familiar with the more recent technologies than someone who's been in the industry for 12 years. They're not going to know the tools that you learned last week. So it's important to bring those things up and talk about them and see if they'd be viable. So I think just encouraging them to speak up is important. And then we take them through a different process from a standpoint of our interns are typically summer intern, but our co-ops are returning. So they'll come back for 3 different semesters. So we work them through a few different departments during that time to actively mentor them towards employment at Mission. So really want them on the team and want them to learn through that process. So they get a lead that helps coach them through different things. They get real projects just like everyone else. So they're treated like a full-time engineer when they're there.
I love that. I think that's so easy, right?
Yeah, it can be,
I
it sounds easy, but there's a lot of work that individuals are
well,
putting in and spending time. So, but it can be easy.
definitely. Definitely, but I think that sometimes we get super extra with, "Oh, we've gotta do this," and, like, we overthink, our processes, our orientation, our onboarding processes, if that makes sense. We overthink and we over-engineer that aspect of it, and it's like, "Oh, how do we get more kids involved?" And that kind of thing. And I've seen a lot of companies kind of put kid gloves on their interns and say, you know, well, this is maybe something we can help you with over here, right? Or you can help
Yeah.
us with while you're here over here.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that and a lot. I've seen that a lot in organizations. So I think it's really cool that you just bring them into the fold like immediately and you're like, we're here,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
I do want to say, like, I think it's important to understand your onboarding and make sure, like, everyone gets the right information out of the gate. And then your orientation right out of the gate, and then your onboarding process. Like, if someone's going to stay with you for a long time, think about what their journey is going to be like for the first 3 months, 6 months, a year. And how can you make that journey most impactful? But yeah, the kids' gloves, not so much, but we have maybe some guardrails, I would say, where it's like, if you're teaching your kids to ride a bike, they're probably going to fall off, but that's okay.
Sure.
But you're not going to let them get hurt bad, right? So having those guardrails or guidelines of like keeping it within the guardrails is important, but also make sure there's opportunity to fail and learn from that, because that's what real life is, and that's what the industry is. There's times you win, there's times you lose. So making sure everyone experiences both sides of that is important to grow.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that's really cool. I love that. I love that y'all are doing that. And then, of course, they kind of come in with different levels of technology experience, right? It kind of depends, I'm sure, on what their school has and then what you are using as well. But do you feel like because I feel like you guys implement a lot of technology there at Mission. Yeah. I mean, especially just given the nature of what you do, right? So there's definitely some technology going on there. You've got IoT, like industrial Internet of Things, because
Mhm.
it's what you're doing. Everything talks to everything and all of that. Do you feel like there is a direct correlation between technology and the employee experience? Have you seen that there at Mission firsthand?
It's a big question, right? Does technology change the way you work? And
Yeah.
are there new tools that are going to change the way everybody works in the next few years? Are we going to have AI and humanoid robots everywhere, and that changes
Yeah.
everything? Maybe this is a little old school, but it comes down to people work with people, and the relationships you build are important, and your people are going to be the best thing at building relationships. So whether it be a relationship with a mentor that's helping you out, or a relationship with a customer or a coworker, that part is very important to learn how to do. And I don't know that there's a technology that can help you do that. I think there's some that can help you stay very connected, and there's some that can distract you from building meaningful connections. So it's really
Mhm.
some moderation and balance and understanding that. And then the other part of that question of technology in the industry is we're constantly evaluating new technologies. Our customers are requesting things that are new, sometimes leading edge, sometimes bleeding edge, where it's maybe a little bit too
Mm.
new to where we want to
Yeah.
put it in an industrial situation.
Yeah.
We will test it out in a lab. We'll try it out in a test environment and say, is it ready for deployment into production, or is it ready to go out to the masses? So we are getting exposed to those things. I would say different people on our team have conversations about new PLCs that are out in the market, or machine learning and vision, or I know there's a couple of people that probably have fun talking about neural networks and all those other words along those lines. Is AI there?
Yeah.
We explore some of the large language learning models and try to just understand them as a tool, and how do they work for our organization and where. But most of our work, the majority, 80/20, is getting done with SolidWorks, AutoCAD, Allen Bradley PLCs, a lot of the tried and true tested equipment that people trust their production to. So you're going to have FANUC robots, you're going to have those kind of things. And then we start to see some ancillary technologies that enable those further, where maybe we can remotely connect in with this technology, or we can have trigger warnings from a camera here that's recording the last amount of time to give ourselves better insights, or maybe we can provide documentation different ways. So there are a lot of technologies that we look at around those edges that are bringing things to more productivity. Bin picking and robot perception have come a long ways in the last few years. So we do see technologies rapidly improving in different places. We feel it's our job and our team's job to test those, try those, understand them before we recommend them to a customer, because they're trusting us with their customer and their production. So all the way throughout what our employees are doing and our customers are doing, we're trying to make sure we're staying relevant and we're attentive to what's new, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So do you have like a test bed, like a dedicated test bed for that? Like
We
if
have,
they have something they want to try, like we want to try this. Will
yeah,
you
we have,
will you try it for them?
sure. We have Vision Lab and PLCs that we can plug into, and robots that we can use in the lab as well. So we do have some different core technologies that we can plug in and try different things out with. And then we can set up and test different products if a customer is looking to use them for robustness with the application.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Again, I think that kind of goes back to the way that you innovate,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So try it out for the customer. In the meanwhile, your employees get to come in and kind of have that same trial run experience. Do they get hype about that? Are they like, "Oh, this is so cool." I would be. I'd be
Yeah.
like, "I
Yeah.
want to play with the new toy," right?
So some people are really excited about it. Other people like doing what they've done and want to continue to do that. So it's just different personalities and finding out what people like to do. So having different things to work on all the time is really exciting to a lot of people on our team, and other people on our team like to do kind of what they've seen before, and both are good and both are needed, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. You got to have the day to day as well.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, definitely. And a lot of people in manufacturing by and large, I mean, they do enjoy the predictability of work. And I don't think that's exclusive to manufacturing. I think that there's a level of, there's a personality type that's like a level of comfort, you know. So I love that both of these personality types can exist, like coexist at Mission, though. I think that's a
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
deal.
There's work for both. And I think it's exciting watching where the industry goes and what's coming up and where and how you can apply those technologies. And sometimes it's applying old technologies to new ideas, or new technologies to old ideas. It's just such a changing environment every time we see a new application. I think that's what's exciting and what our team likes. And then you brought up something too, where in manufacturing overall, in general, like a lot of people do like to work with technology. So I think the labor market now, if they're going to look at a manufacturer where they want to be employed and they're trying to decide, do I want to work in this factory without new technology, maybe a little bit run down, or do I want to go work in a factory that's employing new technology, maybe has robotics in it, and looks like they're investing in the future? I think there's an allure there for employees to want to go work there. So people see that technology, they see those robots in the industry, in manufacturing, and I think that bolsters their ability to acquire people for their team.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then the way that we use technology as humans every day, how do we incorporate some of how we use technology every day to how we work every day?
Yeah.
I think
I think
that's
using it every day.
I think that's a something we got to think about.
Yeah, I think getting a balance there, right? Of what's useful tools, what are distractions, and how and when do you use them, right?
That's right. Absolutely. Well, I have one more question here, Ryan. If you have availability for one more, I want to value your time here today. But it's more Ryan centric, if you will, and just some of your future goals on industry impact. And what are some things that you would want to impart upon, like depart with the future generations? Like, how do you envision your contribution shaping the future of manufacturing for them?
Well, I think what's exciting about this industry is you can see that a lot of different ways. I think with kind of our customers, I'd love for them to have a great experience with Mission that they feel they can trust and come back to. So they have a team that they can work with, and they can work with them for many years, and they can entrust their job, their customers' performance, and their performance with Mission. So if our customers in the future are feeling that way and feeling like they can bring us complex problems and strange problems and we can solve them and help them, I think that would be fantastic. So I'll hit on two things, because I say take care of each other and take care of the customer. And then I think if our employees and our team that's working every day can feel successful when they go home at night and talk about how they had a good day at work or they learned something new. And I've said this before, if in many years it's a company where they'd like to have their children work or their kids work, then I think perhaps we've done something correctly, right? Where they want to recommend us to others, they would recommend us to their kids. Those kind of thoughts are where you go, I would work there, I would want you to work there. There's so many organizations where maybe parents won't recommend working there to their kids, right? Like, you don't want to do this, don't step into that. So if manufacturing and if automation can be that place where they're like, you know where you want to go when you get done, you want to get into this industry. So I think if we can help create that as a place and an environment and a culture that people individually are willing to recommend, then I think we've maybe gone in the right direction.
I love that so much. I just think that should be our end goal, right? Like, is this a place that our kids want to work? That we
Yeah, right.
want our kids to work, right?
Yeah, they
So
may or may
true.
not, but at least as a parent, or even if it's your nephew or a friend or somebody like a peer, would you recommend that they go work there? And you would do that because you think they would enjoy it and you enjoy it. So I think if we're doing that, that'd be good, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's got to be the goal. I think that's what saves our industry.
That's peer
So
reviews.
5 stars would recommend. In all seriousness, we
Yeah.
joke about, oh, 5 stars, whatever. This is not new. This is how it's always been. And I think that so many companies, I don't know, it's like it just goes right on over their head. Do you see that? Like, it's like we just don't know what to do. We don't know like how to, we don't know how to reach younger generations, or we don't know how to get more people interested in coming to work for our company.
Yeah.
This
Yeah, I do
concept's
see a
not
lot of
new.
places that their workforce is retiring and they haven't thought about how to foster the next generation being interested in their organization. And their tribal knowledge will leave with that, right? Or as an organization scales and grows, those things become more complex, right? So how do you create environments, or if you have multiple facilities, how do you start to foster that? Do you try to make them all rigid with the same guidelines, or is the facility that's down by Ann Wyatt have a little different flavor than the one that's up north by Ryan Lillibridge, right? And are you
That's
okay
right.
with in those different dynamics, but maybe it's still the same goals and purpose within the organization? So it's important to understand those dynamics and try and allow the ones that make the team successful overall, but also give freedom to each one of those to maybe create in their own way, right? So some large organizations do that really well, some do not, and it's not easy.
It's not easy. No, I mean, there's really nothing. I guess there's really nothing. Like, we sit here and it takes a lot of work, and a lot of commitment and a lot of discipline. I guess really kind of my point was that, it seems to me like a lot of the manufacturing companies that have the most success with creating that generational retention. Is that a word? Can we make that a thing?
I think
It is, though. It's like,
you don't see it very much anymore. I think like Ford and GM maybe used to have that, right? Where you'd hear generations of working at GM. The military has been one that's been good at it for years, right? My grandpa was in the military. My dad was in the military. I'm in the military. So you see large organizations that are good at it or used to be good at it and maybe are not anymore. But there's been examples.
there's been examples. Yeah. And it's like, oh, I want to go work there.
Yeah.
And I think that that's got to be like one of the core principles in starting out is this a place that we want our kids to work?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. Some great takeaways, some great gems there, Ryan. For anybody that is interested in learning more about Mission or the amazing human that is Ryan Lillibridge, how should they get in touch with you?
Yeah. For Mission, you can go to missiondesignauto.com. And then for me, just connect on LinkedIn is the best.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, you have been on LinkedIn a lot with some other podcasts.
Yeah. I think it was
Events.
with Ann Wyatt, and it was really good, right? On Chris's. So,
Yeah.
and so,
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a fun. When are we doing that again?
I don't know. That was a fun event.
I have to call Chris and ask him. Say, hey, sign us up for another one of these.
Yeah, let's do it again. There you go. Just kick it off.
Why not? I had a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you agreeing to come on and do Workforce 4.0 today. This has been an amazing conversation, and I really appreciate it, Ryan.
Yeah, I had a blast. Thank you, Ann. It was fun talking about it, and I always enjoy talking with you. So thank you.
All right. And thanks to everybody listening in today on this episode of Workforce 4.0. We will see you again next week.